The Thunder's taking on the Phoenix Suns here tonight, game number 5 of a 6-game homestand. It's also the very first game of the Emirates Cup. I've got J-Dub here alongside me and Jalen. You guys get a chance to host the first Emirates Cup game here tonight of this season. Different court, same competitive nature as all of the other 82 games, but a little bit of a different vibe tonight when you play these kind of games?
Yeah. Last year was the first year they did it, right? Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't even seen the court. I think I saw a leak, so I don't know if that's the actual one. So I'm excited to get out there. I feel like it has like a very playoff vibe to it, but not like the playoffs. So it should be pretty cool. Our fans usually show out for it. So
you guys have really taken advantage of this homestand and that home crowd. Great win the other night against New Orleans, where you all really dominated, and you were obviously a huge fixture in that. You had some of these plays where maybe it didn't work out the first time, like you made a deflection, and then about 3 seconds later, you make the steal. You miss a dunk, and about 3 seconds later, you get a dunk. Like, tell me about that relentless nature of yourself.
It's just playing through whatever's happening in the game. It makes it easy because that's like the collective mindset we have with the team. And I kind of just always harp on like playing hard and letting the rest of the game work out, and that's how it worked out last night. But I mean, at the same time, it's just like a persistence thing because like it's going to be games where like you get a bunch of deflections and you don't end up with the steal, so it's like, what else are you going to do? And that's kind of how I play.
You have 18 dunks on the season now in 12 games. Pretty good streak you got going. Any conversation with the team about how many times you're up on top of the rim?
Well, I think we all, as a whole, know I'm the best dunker on the team. I don't have any close competition. I'm trying to think who. Yeah, actually, I think it is me. I don't think anybody's really going to challenge that. Hopefully Hart makes his return. Jay Will definitely won't be catching me in the dunk category. Actually, maybe Jay will. He gets some dump offs. Hopefully
he'll roll to the rim.
Yeah. Maybe the bigs will catch up. But from a guard standpoint, I am alone.
You are a guy that's played so many different positions. You put in so many different situations. This Phoenix team that's coming in, we don't know if they're going to have Yusuf Nurkic yet at this point. That would obviously change things quite drastically.
Yes, for me.
Yeah, for you. So what have you maybe learned over time about how to handle a guy like that if you're thrust into that situation?
Just be physical and, kind of know where you want to guide them on the court and know where your help is. And I think, again, just comes down to competing. And I think the biggest thing is you don't want to, always be on the defensive end of contact. So sometimes you kind of have to start it, and that's going to be that, gauge of, what's going on in the game.
You used your quickness and your length the other night against the Clippers and Ivica Zubac. The very first possession of the game, you're around, you move your feet, you make the deflection, you make a steal on an entry pass. How critical is that, either fronting the post or, just getting around and moving your feet in these situations?
It kind of messes up the ball handler a little bit just because you never know what I'm going to do. And anytime you kind of get them to second guess a pass, it gives you more time to get to your coverages, and it makes the big kind of have to really worry about it. And then you can kind of force catches farther and farther out. So it's definitely a mind game and understanding where our defense is, and like I said, understanding where our help is. And at the same time, you're going to give up close paint touches occasionally, and it's just about how many times you can limit easy catches and easy layups and stuff like that.
I want to ask you about the other end of the floor. You've got 8 20-point games so far this season. That's right up there near the top of the league in terms of number of games of 20 points or more. Shea often talks about, everybody on this team has a role. You and his role in some ways is to be a scorer, to score the basketball. How do you handle that responsibility when we sometimes think about roles on a team being, the scrappy stuff or screening and doing other types of things?
I think it's just another balance thing that I'm trying to learn and understand when to do it, when not to. I thought we had a really good film session of trying to limit, 3 possessions in a row where we don't get good shots. And that's what makes championship teams, when you look back, how many times can they course correct over the game without having to call timeouts and being able to do that. So I think it's just one of those things where I take a bigger role than just scoring, and Mark's been big this year on not letting that affect all the other stuff that I can do really well. And that's something that I kind of look forward to doing. So in the game, I just try and read when to get to my spots and when not, when we have lulls offensively. And I think when you have guys that can also score on our team, it makes it easy. And when you have Shea, them get 40 or 50 or however much on any given night, it makes my role a lot easier.
Sounds like just great intentionality from you and the team. Great, thoughtful approach. Good luck out there tonight. Thank you very much for joining me, Jada.
Appreciate you.
All right, that's Jalen Williams. I'm Nick Gallo, and this is Thunder Basketball. Cason, before we get to the Suns, I got to ask you about stealing the inbounds pass while you're defending the passer. I mean, I know that's kind of a tricky situation because you can't, cross the line, but how did you do that?
Just knowing that they only have 5 seconds to get the ball in, so he has to throw it somewhere eventually, and his last option was to throw a lob pass to the corner, so just reading that and sniffing it out.
And then, you've now seen a guy like Devin Booker a few times, obviously not a ton, but what's the key in defending a guy like that who can elevate and shoot the way that he does?
Very skilled player, so it's going to take all 5 to get the job done, but just make sure we show him a crowd, just like any other one of the great players we guard every night.
You've played in some of these NBA Cup games last season. What do you remember about them and kind of what separated them from the rest of the regular season?
Especially the home games, the crowd, the amount of love we get is unmatched. So just going out there and, the court's a vibe, the fans, everybody's into it, like it's loud. Some of the best games of the season.
Cason, there's a lot of volatility involved in three-point shooting, lots of ups and downs throughout the year. How do you just kind of ignore that noise, just kind of stay focused on the process instead of looking at the numbers?
Knowing that it's a long season, you have a shooting slump every year, so it's a matter of when you have them. But just knowing that you'll get through them and you'll be all right.